Hi everybody. So today it's Tuesday and the coffee place is closed. So that was very good to be able to fix here. So as I said before, even when the coffee place is closed, the work is still going on here. So yeah, when you think, if you want to open this kind of business, think well about the time it's going to take you when you have open, but also the time is going to take you when you are closed, which means all the shopping you do, all the things you need to buy to run your business, but also all the administration part you have to do, and the bookings you have to to take during the weekdays. For us, it's during the weekdays when we are closed. So it's actually pretty many things. Now, for example, I was doing a laundry, so to clean all the sheets we have here in the kitchen and other things, and that takes also a lot of time. So the best will be to do it when we have open, and this is how you can, how can I say, optimize your organization and your work time. So basically it's by doing the most you can when you are working, and to really take your time off. I mean, to not have to work when you are not supposed to. So about Easter, it went pretty good. Even I mean, despite of the weather conditions were absolutely terrible. Like I said, I think yesterday I said to you, it was the worst weather I experienced here. So I've been living here like 5 years, and that was the worst. So that's pity it happened during Easter, because Easter is a huge time, a short but huge time, with a lot of customers. It's a 4 or 5 days very intensive, and it hasn't been so intensive because of the weather. But what can we do? Weather is as it is, so it's hard to do something else. So the best thing, and that's also very, very good advice, because it's not only about the weather, it's only about a lot of things, is to try to be as flexible as possible. So when you're planning your things, for example, I remember we were planning concert outside in our garden during the summer, and of course what happened is that because it's Sweden and even in summer it can rain pretty much, we had to cancel or to reorganize the concert that were supposed to be outside, and we have to take them in, and that was there was a lot of work for nothing at the end. So yeah, so very bad weather, and what we had to do is to try to organize differently, and to adapt. So be flexible and adapt as much as you can. That's really the key to I cannot say succeed, but to work well and to work without so much pressure. That was the first time in 5 years I didn't have so much pressure during a big period like it is, because I removed the pressure myself, and I worked so much better. I was so much better with my personal, people around me, and it was actually very nice to work. But like I said before, this kind of weather killed the whole thing, unfortunately. But it's gonna be better days, and there is no problem with that. A last thing about our menu. It can be interesting for people who follow us and who are interested by what we're doing here, so they will know what I'm talking about, but also for you who follow us without knowing us. And I can explain to you, like in 2-3 minutes, how we do with food. So When we opened that place 5 years ago, we didn't know what to sell except cakes, of course, and coffee. So the best example, I think, when you want to open a business is to think first what yourself would appreciate the place you gonna run. So a coffee place for me is a place where you can have a nice sweet thing, good coffee of course, but also something to eat if you're a little hungry. So here in Sweden, for example, you always have like a sandwich, at least a sandwich, you know, or a soup if you are hungry. So it's not of course like a restaurant, but it can actually, you know, help you to not be so hungry. And so we did that. We started with sandwich, soup. I even think we had pies at the beginning, but I'm not sure. But soup, sandwich, that was the basic. And of course, what happened when you're running a coffee and you're selling small cookies and then you sell some food, you notice that you get more money with the food, which is logical. So to open this cafe here, this coffee place, without serving food will be, I think, impossible. I mean, it will be just good enough if I work the whole year to get money, just to get one salary, so I could work with maybe one extra person maximum and nothing else. And I think not even only because of money, but I think it will be a little sad, you know, because when you make food, you get also another side, another angle of your place, you know, and I pretty like that. We have very good pastries in France, but I think we really, how can I say, we really do well on food, and we really have that culture of food that I wanted to show to people here. So I decided to start something called galette. It's like fruit pancake, and so I bought this kind of stove, you know, to make them. And at the beginning it was just like one stove to make I was thinking to make few galettes sometimes for people who would be interested. They had their higher prices. I remember at the beginning we just had 3 galettes, and that was funny when I think about that. But the thing is, it worked very good. And I remember at the beginning my galettes were not good at all because I didn't know how to make them, so I was making them pretty thick. And then of course they, you know, it's like a crepe, you know, if you know what I'm talking about. So it's something very thin that you fold, or like that, or that you roll. And when it's not cooking, but when it gets hot, then you put your ingredients on it, you roll and you serve, and it worked very well. So we had to how can I say, to become professional on that thing. So we bought more plates for that, we bought more ingredients, we created a bigger menu. So that was very big expansion with that thing. And at the end, until last year, it became pretty huge here. And the thing is, I think it's very good, and I understand people like it, but it was very huge. It was too huge for our small place. I mean, if you have a bigger place, then you can drive it easily, but our kitchen is so small, so it's very hard to make, you know, a big amount of food here. And the thing is, I wanted to start something else with the menu, to create something new, to have less galette to do, so there's pancakes to do, and also to be able to create more, because I had the impression after a while that galettes were, how can I say, the galettes, they limit myself to what I could do, because I just used the same ingredients all the time, and it was not so much creativity at the end. And I really wanted to have something new, and then I started to have to create that buffet that I call brunch, which, like I said last time on the previous video, It's not exactly right, because a brunch should be like a between breakfast and lunch, but we do it more like a lunch. But I call it brunch because it sounds good and it's modern. So I started that, and the consequences or the reaction of customers were really surprising, and sometimes I was very disappointed, even if I understood their point of view. But you know, we had people coming here, and what I did was that I wanted to have this brunch, but yeah, and I was thinking to serve it only from 3 o'clock p.m. So it means to have it for lunch, and then from 3 o'clock to serve the galette, you know, to go back on the galette thing. And I was very surprised by the reaction of the people, you know, who got such disappointed because they came here to have galette, and I wrote everything on our website to be clear with that, but it was really so, they were really such disappointed, you know. I was very surprised too. But like I said to you, when something happens too often, the same thing happens too often, when a problem happens too often, at the end is not their fault, it's your fault. It means that you have to solve it some way. So I actually kept doing the brunch, and I push it, you know, and sometimes we lost customers because they just left, because they just wanted to eat galette, which is sometimes it felt a little bit ridiculous, because you have people coming here, they say they want to eat a galette, we say no, we serve them from 3 o'clock until 9 o'clock evening, which I think is still a good offer, and they just left the coffee. And then I was thinking, okay, but where are you going then? Because we are the only ones serving galette here. It's not like in France where you can find this kind of things, you know, I cannot say everywhere, but in pretty many places. Not here. Here there was nothing like that. So that was pretty surprising for me. But we kept doing that because I don't have choice. You know, after a while, when you have too many people coming, you need to adapt and do other things. And the brunch was, I think, pretty good. You know, I think we did pretty good. And I still have a lot of ideas for that, because I think we can still develop it pretty much. And what else about that? Yeah, so the reason I didn't want to keep having galette the whole day is because the kitchen is too small. It's because it limits me too much with my creativity. And I also wanted to make these products or this thing a little more rare. Because if I serve galette every day, anytime, this is what we are doing before, I think it doesn't sound as good as if you say that you serve that nice thing just during a short time. And I think it worked. As you've seen, I don't write anything when I just talk now, so I hope it was pretty fluent and pretty clear for you. I made a series of videos now, like 10, 11, 12, and I'm gonna change little by little the format of my videos. I'm gonna take someone, hire someone to film it from outside, and I really want to show you not the vision, not of me talking all the time. I can do sometimes some analyze when I, you know, when I tell you what I think about a subject. But I think that will be very interesting for you to see the back side, the dark side, the other side of this kind of business. So the format of these videos will change. I don't know if it will be shorter or longer, doesn't matter. I want to keep it, I want to make it one per day. This I think is very good, to really see the evolution, you know. And yeah, it's gonna change a bit, but it's gonna be good. See you tomorrow. I will drive pretty much tomorrow, like something like 5 hours. So I will have time to think, to settle everything in my head, and then I will tell you more about many things.